that honest feedback, get through the awkward stage, get their opinions, because you're about to make life decisions. You're about to wrap up college. Now's the time to flesh this out.
Thank you for writing in.
So that was a good one. Let's jump into the next one, and this one is sultry and exciting, Nick. So let's. This is very interesting. It is titled, "My fiancé is afraid I will revenge cheat on them." Yeah, revenge cheating. "It was last year that I found out my fiancé cheated on me. He told me that he did, but only because the girl he was sleeping with threatened to expose him. I gave him another chance. And ever since then, he's been so paranoid that I'm going to do the same thing to him, which I wouldn't because I'm not trashy or spiteful. He asked me to marry him shortly after I found out. I was hesitant at first because I didn't want him to feel like he had to marry me to prove his loyalty or because he felt bad, but he insists that it's what he wants. He just randomly asks me stuff like, 'We're okay, right?' Or when I leave, I notice that he would start panicking and ask where I'm going and with who. When I finally asked him why he was being frantic all of a sudden, he told me that he was worried about me cheating on him. He really started crying, and I felt bad because I gave him no reason to feel like I would cheat on him. This dude is really worried about nothing. Then he told me to make sure I come and talk to him if I do feel like cheating. I've told him over and over that I wouldn't cheat on him out of spite. I wouldn't cheat on him at all. I'd just leave, but he isn't listening. We're getting married soon, and I don't want this to be something stuck in the back of his mind. This has also gotten to be really annoying. He's constantly looking over my shoulder to see who I'm speaking to, and he wants to go everywhere with me, even to my hair appointments, which he hated going to before. My boyfriend's afraid I'm going to revenge cheat on him. What should I do?"
You know, relationships are a lot like bridges.
Okay.
Kind of like the Rockville Bridge in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, which is the longest stone arch bridge in the world.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
You know,
interesting, huh?
what a great state Pennsylvania is.
It is.
With such sophisticated and classy people.
Right. That's all I could go with the bridge.
Yeah, that's all. Solid. That was very solid.
But getting back to our letter here. Yeah, this worries me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of insecurity here, and as we were reading this and I was kind of listening to everything that was going on, there's some red flags, some things popping up, and I was kind of thinking like, okay, well, they got some things to work on.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't really until I got to, we're getting married soon.
Yeah.
that I was like, okay. So there's a little bit more of a time crunch here.
Oh, yeah.
To address this.
Yes.
Nothing changes if nothing changes. Right? This problem probably isn't just going to go away and get better on its own.
Yeah.
So he's obviously dealing with a lot of insecurities.
Yes.
And it sounds like you're doing your best to reassure him, but ultimately at the end of the day, this is something that he's going to have to work through. He's either going to have to just accept the fact that you could possibly cheat on him and he has to learn to deal with it.
Right.
Or he has to take you at your word and be able to let it go.
So I think I see two things happening here. The first thing is this guy cheated. Okay, that happens, and you guys have reconciled. Okay, good. That can happen too. Yay. But it is a very common pattern that we see, Nick, whenever somebody is the offender, when they are the cheater, to begin feeling nervous, right? It's just like a person who's been a criminal can kind of see other criminals. Or like they see that behavior in other people. They sense it because there's something inside of themselves that's capable of detecting it. And so they have this suspicion that because I have thought these things, because I have behaved these ways, I now realize anybody's capable of it, and I begin to suspect that you might do this. And so it's very, very common. I had a female client, an older female client. She was in her 50s, and she had cheated on her husband multiple times, but they had stayed together. They had worked it out. But they were actually seeing me because she was constantly terrified that he was going to cheat on her. And she was going through his closet and like looking at his shirts to make sure there's no like female strands of hair on it or anything that would like, she would smell them to make sure there's no perfume. She was constantly looking, and we call that hypervigilance. Mm-hmm. And we see that in this story too. And it's very, very common. So the first thing I notice is a person who has been the offender oftentimes re-traumatizes or believes that it's going to happen to them. And so there's this terror. That's very normal. He's not crazy for it. It's a pattern that I've seen. But the second element, Nick, that I see is something that you've already touched on, which is his deeply embedded insecurity. An insecurity, not only that you might cheat on him, but an insecurity that the relationship is no longer sound. He faced the chance of losing it, and that shook him so deeply that he immediately moved to make it permanent. And now it's like, let's get married. And Nick and I have seen this happen a lot of times where it's like, hey, we're going to have a baby now. Wait, what? Your relationship was on the rocks a month ago. Well, we worked it out. Now we're thinking about having a kid, or we're going to buy a house together, or we're going to get married. And it's like, as therapists, when we see you doing that, listen, we know what's really going on. We know in your subconscious somewhere there's an insecurity that this is not permanent. And so now you're trying to drive nails through it and put things on top of it so it doesn't fly away. And that's fine. That's very human of you. It's also ill-advised. And so when I see this person saying, we're getting married soon, Nick, my first reaction is full stop. Full stop. Pull the emergency brake. You guys don't need to be setting any appointments to be getting married until you make an appointment with a marriage and family therapist to begin the hard and difficult work of exploring what happened, where you guys are both at, and what you both want. Because this looks an awful lot like panic behavior, and I don't want anybody panicking their way into a marriage.
Right. And the other thing that I'm hearing a lot in this is what I've heard you talk about a lot before, which is playing defense in a relationship.
Yeah.
This is exactly what he's doing.
Yes.
It's all defense. It's all asking questions. Where are you going? Oh, let me go with you to your hair appointment.
Yeah.
That's defensive behavior.
Yes, and now let me get a ring on it as fast as I can. Even that is defensive.
Yes.
Or if he's having, let's have kids. Like, I just really want you to know I love you so much. And it's all defense. And that's fine. He's not a bad man. He's not a villain for this. But it smacks of insecurity. And I'll tell you right now, insecurity is not an asset to a relationship. It is a risk. In fact, I would go so far as to say this. I think the reason he cheated on you is because he's insecure. That's my first guess, because that is actually a very common theme in people that wander outside of the relationship, is because they themselves don't feel safe. They don't feel secure. They don't think you're going to stick around, and an opportunity comes and somebody else flatters them and affirms them and makes them feel valuable, and they seek that to the point of actually stepping out of the relationship.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I've seen that a million times, especially when relationships repair, because when they come back to you and they go, I'm sorry, they truly are, and they really don't want to lose you because they didn't actually care about that other person. They felt cared for by that other person, and it made them feel valuable. So I would say the flaw in the relationship that actually probably led to the affair itself is his unaddressed insecurity. That is evident to this day. I think it has grown, not shrunk, and that means I think you have some hard work to do before you try to put a ring on it and surround this thing inside of the structure of marriage. Marriage is not going to save this relationship. I have seen so many relationships, Nick, where people think, oh, I'm going to save this by kicking it up a notch. I'm going to have a baby. We're going to buy a house. We're going to move across the country and get away from all the people that we both know so we can start fresh in some beautiful, gorgeous, heavenly place like Pennsylvania, where many people go. In fact, Nick, people don't tell you this, but Pennsylvania truly is the place where you can pursue happiness. And besides Pennsylvania being a heavenly place that might save your relationship, many people have made the mistake of trying to do something drastic and abrupt to try to strap this relationship down so it doesn't float away. But folks, I'm here to tell you that doesn't work. Now, on to the second thing. Revenge cheating. Nick, is revenge cheating a thing?
Yeah, I mean, even to the point where couples have talked about it.
Yes.
As being, well, this would be the solution.
Yeah.
If I allow you to do it,
let's get it out of there.
It's like resetting the scoreboard. Like, okay, we're tied now.
Yeah. Okay, I wronged you. You have one mulligan. You
Yeah.
get one freebie. Just let me know what you're going to do, or let me know when it's done. And it's almost like whenever you were a young man and like you punch your friend or something, he's like, I owe you one.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not going to tell you when it's coming. And you're like, just get it over with. Like, just hit me already. But that's exactly what it's like. So revenge cheating is a thing. And it's this idea, like you said, of restoring the scoreboard of, okay, I wronged you, my bad, and I want this back. So I'm giving you a freebie. I'm giving you one sucker punch to my chin. I'm giving you one fling that you're allowed to have. And you know what? That's guilt-free. Now, obviously, he's not doing that. He's not saying I give you permission. But that's a natural thing. A lot of folks would say, is revenge cheating a thing? Or is a rebound cheat a thing? The option to make it right. Nick, what's your opinion on that? Is that a good way to reset a relationship or to reset the scoreboard?
Well, let me think about it for a minute. No.
That was less than a minute.
That's all the time it took. Well, it's not only an issue just for the guy to offer that.
Right.
But not necessarily in her case, as she's writing in, but I know that
people have done
the
that.
people who have been the person who've been cheated on then feel like, okay, well then I can do this too.
Right.
And ultimately it's like, that whole thing with an eye for an eye.
Yes.
Right. We're not actually making progress towards anything.
It's further injury.
You're just getting deeper and deeper into the problem.
Yes.
It's not going to make, her cheating on him isn't going to make his insecurity go away. He's not going to feel like, I feel so much better now that you've slept with somebody else.
Yeah, no, you got it out of your system. Yeah. But that's the mythology of it, right? I've heard so many people say, listen, we just feel like we need to get it out of our system. That's not how humanity works, man. Like, we have memories. We don't just blow the line out and all of a sudden the car works again. Like, that is not how we are. Right. We stick with this stuff. It stays with us. It's traumatic. It affects us. The other thing that I think is a mythology here is this idea of justice, that somehow if you get back at me, there's a justice that's been achieved and a balance has been restored. That, again, going back to what Nick said, eye for an eye just makes the world blind. It's not true. And in psychology, I can tell you right now, we are a form of healthcare. We do not think that whenever you have pneumonia, the thing that will make you feel better is to infect somebody else with your condition. Like, that does not make it better. That makes the sum worse.
Which is interesting because a lot of people still think that way.
Oh, yeah.
In other situations, you know, that like, I feel terrible about myself.
Right.
So I'm going to bully this other person.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah. But I think that there is a real fear here. And so the guy in this story is not crazy, Nick. He's afraid she's going to revenge cheat. And honestly, that's not an unfounded fear. She says, hey, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to do it. But I get his perspective because hurting people hurt people. And he has made her a hurting person. And so he's nervous that she's going to now go out and hurt him. Honestly, directly to this listener, again, our advice is, I think Nick and I both believe you should seek counsel. I think you both need to be seeking therapy. There is really shoddy workmanship on the foundation of the house that you are trying to build. Deal with it now. Don't ignore this and just hope that, once we put some weight on the foot, everything will snap into place. That is not how it works. Do not walk on a sprain. This is a wounded relationship. It needs to be addressed now. And if you're out there and you're thinking, hey, we've had the situation of an affair occur in our relationship and we floated the idea of revenge cheating, I don't hear Nick or I, either of us, advising that is a good idea. We think that is a foolish idea. It is mythology, and it's just this idea that humans think will balance out the scales. That's not how real life works.
And generally, marriage is never seen as a solution to a problem.
No. Right. Yeah.
I can't think of a problem in which
marriage
it was
solve.
solved by,
let's
get married.
Citizenship, Nick. Citizenship. That could solve it.
You know what? I'm wrong.
Yeah.
You're right. I stand corrected.
So if your problem is one of you is not a U.S. citizen, then get married. But if the problem is we don't know if there's a permanent and long-lasting relationship here, marriage is not the solution.
Probably not.
No, It does not make things better. It makes things more complicated.
Yep, absolutely. And when you get this worked out, when you get it sorted out, and you get married, we obviously wish you the best.
Yes.
And if you happen to get married around June 9th,
what's going on June 9th?
There's the Easton Farmers Market Strawberry Day.
Oh, the Strawberry
in
Day.
Easton, Pennsylvania.
Yes,
so
God's country.
Go to Easton for a delicious Saturday featuring everything strawberry, Jim.
Oh,
everything.
Everything.
Yeah. Do I mean strawberry shortcake? Yeah.
Oh, what?
Strawberry cocktails? Yeah.
No.
Fresh berries at our produce vendors?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Lots of berry-licious vendor specials.
Berry-licious. And when is that again, Nick?
That is going to be June 9th, 2018, this summer.
Well, if you ignore our advice and you decide to get married immediately, you know where your honeymoon's going to be. In fabulous Pennsylvania, where people pursue happiness, Nick.
And eat strawberries so sweet and delicious, it's like eating a piece of sunshine.
Wow.
It's like eating a piece of sunshine.
I didn't write that. I wish I was that creative.
VisitPA.com is on point.
They are.
Jeez, whoever you are that's writing these blurbs, you deserve a raise.
Absolutely.
It's like eating sunshine.
So we decided we were going to do a podcast about therapy, and I came up with the title Pod Therapy.
Yeah.
So that's the level of creativity that I've got.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of respect for that.
The guy who's eating sunshine is beyond both of our marketing abilities.
Yes.
And but you know what, Nick? I can only assume his genius because they are from Pennsylvania, a refined state.